the ninth form of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. They have blessed us with their Hukamnama, with their teachings. Dhan Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, for those of us that don't know, were the youngest Sahibzade of our sixth Guru, Dhan Sahib Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, Miri Piri De Malik. And we have reflected on this week our fifth Guru, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj, the crown of all Shaheeds, Shaheedan de Sartaj. And remember, they passed on the Gurta Gaddi before they went to Lahore, before they sacrificed themselves for us, to the sixth Guru, Miri Piri De Malik, the master of temporal and spiritual power. And Sikhi developed in the way where an army was needed, and Sikhs became soldiers. And throughout the time of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, then Guru Sahib Ji would command that not only would we donate money, food, but we would also donate weapons. Takht Sri Akal Takht Sahib was built, was established, and it was a direct throne to all other kingdoms in this material world. Because that throne, that takht, is the takht of not only spiritual but also temporal power. It is the throne of the Almighty Lord. And Sahib Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji then passed on the Gurta Gaddi to, in their relation, their grandson, Dhan Sri Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji Maharaj. Sri Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji Maharaj was the son of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji's eldest Sahibzade, Baba Gurditta Ji. And then Sri Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji, the seventh Guru, passed on the Gurta Gaddi to our eighth Guru, Dhan Sahib Sri Guru Har Krishan Sahib Ji Maharaj. And from there, when Sri Guru Har Krishan Sahib Ji Maharaj was in Delhi and they cured that disease, the disease of smallpox throughout that area, taking that upon themselves, they then gave ashara that their Baba Basai Beej Bakale, that their Baba, their grandfather in relation, Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, the ninth Guru of the Sikhs, they reside in a place called Bakala. We now know it as Baba Bakala, as it was directed by Sri Guru Har Krishan Sahib Ji Maharaj. And they will then look after the Gursikh Sangat themselves. They had already sent a Gursikh to do the ceremony of the Gurta Gaddi, the Gursikh in the family lineage of Baba Buddha Sahib Ji. Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji was sent there by their grandfather, Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, Miri Piri De Malik. Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji's mother, Mata Nanaki Ji, one day doing the seva of their husband Lord, Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, asked for a blessing, and the ramal, or the towel that Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji's hands were being wiped with after they had washed them, was passed on to Mata Nanaki Ji. And it was said at that time that the Gurta Gaddi will come to your home from the blessing Mata Nanaki Ji asked for. They were sent, Mata Nanaki Ji, Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, and also Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji's Mata Ganga Ji. They were sent to Bakala. Now if we travel in India, when we go to Punjab, there is a road that is called the Great Trunk GT Road. It goes from Amritsar and you can travel all the way down to Delhi through that road. If you follow that road down from Amritsar side, coming towards the south, Baba Bakala will be one of the first towns that you reach even before you go into the Doaba region of Jalandhar. Baba Bakala will be found probably around an hour, maybe less these days, from Amritsar side. And Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji then, at that place, spent, as they say, 26 years, 9 months and 13 days in devotional worship, deep meditation in their own form. Because remember, the Gurus are the form of Akal Purkh Vaheguru on this earth, and when they go in deep meditation, if we want to use simple English words, they are in a deep self-reflection. We sometimes reflect with ourselves. So the Gurus can also focus in their formless. And Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji spent that time there. Now one may ask that their Mehel, Mata Gujar Kaur Ji, Mata Gujari Ji, what did they do for those 26 plus years? They performed the selfless service of not only their Guru Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, but their husband Lord, because they were their husband Lord, and they performed the seva and service there. We know that by Makhan Shah Lubana, their ship was ferried across the seas by Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. And then he promised those hundreds of gold coins. But when he went to Bakale, after hearing that the Guru resides there, the families of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, of the Gurus, the Sodhis if you will, they had set up as if they wanted to become the Guru. There was 22 that were there proclaiming to be the Guru. Even in this day and age, we have many that proclaim to be the Guru, and constantly they are disrespecting Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and the Gursikh Panth. Why will they disrespect? They disrespect because they know the true and perfect Guru is in the form of Gurbani, is in the form of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And the only way to try and claim themselves is to degrade in their way Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and the Gursikh way. Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, when Makhan Shah Lubana are meeting all these false Gurus, if you will, they meet Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. They offer a less amount of gold, and there Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, without going into too much detail, remind Makhan Shah Lubana of his promise when he was being saved, ferried across the seas so his boat and his merchandise wouldn't sink. He then realized that Tan Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji is the 9th Guru of the Sikhs. He comes up into the town and he shouts, Gur Laddo Re, that we have found the Guru. We have found the 9th Guru of the Sikhs. They did Benti and Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji became Pargat, and then they started to do their prachar, because we know that towards the end, at the end of their time on this earth, just like their great grandfather, whose Shahidi we celebrated, remembered, reflected on yesterday, Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji also sacrificed themselves. They gave their sees without even screaming out an instant. They gave their sees so the foundations of the Khalsa Panth can be put together. The foundations of the Khalsa Panth can be built. And then obviously we know in 1699, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji then established, brought forth the Khalsa through the Guru Khalsa, the Panj Pyare. Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji from Baba Bakala, they visited Sri Harmandir Sahib, where they came to this earth. If we walk from the back entrance, if you will, of Sri Guru, of Takht Sri Akal Takht Sahib, a 5-minute walk, we will go to a place called Guru Ke Mehal. Guru Ke Mehal was the house of the Gurus, the palace of the Gurus, if you will. It was there from the times of Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. And underneath, in the lower floor, in the Pora side, is where Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji came to this world. But there, the Masands who had closed the Darshani Duri of Sri Harmandir Sahib. So once we come into the Parkarma and then we cross over the bridge, if you will, that the Darshani Duri at that point was closed to not allow Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji to come in, because Tirmaliye, the family lineage of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, another lineage, they were proclaiming to be the Guru themselves. And there, the Asthan. So the reason why I'm explaining this, because some of us haven't been to India. Some of us haven't been to these Asthans. And when we go for the first time, it will give us some context on why these Asthans are there. So we know Sri Harmandir Sahib was established by Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. Opposite, we have Takht Sri Akal Takht Sahib. And yesterday in the documentary, we saw these pictures. We saw where these places were. But we also had heard of another Asthan, another Gurdwara, Dhada Sahib of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. We saw that yesterday. We saw that some of the Singhs had done their morche bandi at that Asthan, which is if you will, as we look at Takht Sri Akal Takht Sahib, it is on the right, slightly back, and that is the Thada Sahib, and there is a tree there where Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji sat. That Thada Sahib is where Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji sat when the doors, the Darshani Duri of Sri Harmandir Sahib was closed. They sent by Makhan Shah Lubana to do their darshan, but they remained there. And from there, they spread Gursikhi. We know they visited Kesgarh Sahib, Takht Sri in Anandpur Sahib. They visited those areas in Anandpur Sahib. They brought that town forth, the town where the Khalsa Panth came forth. They visited Sabo Ki Talwandi, Takht Sri Damdama Sahib, where Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji's complete form was put together by Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. They went to those places which later became our takhts. They also then travelled to the east of India and they established Sri Patna Sahib, Takht Sri Harmandir Ji, which is another one of our takhts where Tan Sahib Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji came to this earth. So they established or they founded the towns of three of our takhts. On the way to do that Gurmat Prachar, Tan Sahib Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj, they went to a place called Prayagraj. Prayagraj is a place of pilgrimage where the Hindu faith visit, and it is special to them because there are three sacred rivers. Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati, they all meet in that town. And when they meet in that town, those who bathe in their faith in that specific spot where they meet, the Tribani, they are said to get the fruits of bathing in each of those separately, because you can do that all in one go. They believe in 68 sacred places of pilgrimage, theeraths, where they go and bathe. But that one point gives them the fruits, the blessings, they believe, of all of those. But for us, we just have to follow, listen, believe and follow the teachings of our Guru, and we are already blessed with all those fruits. So Tan Sahib Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, in this Shabd, they have blessed us with this morning's Mukhwaq. When Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji is there, they stayed 6 months at Prayagraj. And in Sorath Rag, Sahib Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, there is a collection of Shabds here, with this Mukhwaq being one of them, where Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji blessed and gave their teachings. Many became the disciples, the Shardalus of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji in those 6 months. Those who had the Ichha to see their deities, they would see them in the form, they would see them in Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji's form. So Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji revealed themselves to those people of the town as the Almighty Lord. This is one of those Shabds, giving those people there a teaching. Let us see how it applies to us this morning.
Satnam Sri Vaheguru Sahib Ji, Sorath mehalaa Nava.
As we reflected earlier this week, Sorath is a feminine rag. We have shown that in the Gurbani of Ragmala. Sorath is a feminine rag, so sometimes when we hear the discourse, we would hear it described as a ragini. But we are not to make any questions here, because there are different rags. Some are masculine, some are feminine, some are their children. And Sorath rag is a feminine rag, mehalaa Nava. Mehalaa translates to the form. Nava, we don't say Nova here when we read Gurbani, we say Nava. That is the Shuddh part of saying the 9th form. And Mehalaa translates to the form. They are the 9th form of Akal Purkh Vaheguru, the 9th form of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. Some parties you will hear use the word mehalaa. Mehel means wife, and a wife is obviously a feminine. So why would you say mehalaa? Because when you put a kanna, mehalaa, that would make masculine. So it doesn't make sense to use or describe or recite this Bani as mehalaa. It doesn't make sense. So the Shuddh part is mehalaa. mehalaa nava, the ninth form of Akal Purkh Vaheguru Tan Sahib Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, in this feminine rag of sorath are blessing us.
मन की मन ही maahi rahi.
So when Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji is blessing the Sangat there, man ki, those thoughts, man hi maahi rahi, those thoughts that are in our minds, in our inner core. Remember, we have reflected on what the man actually is, what the part of the man, what functions the man takes on. It takes on the function of processing, where thoughts come into our mind, sankalp, and then from there we have a vikalp. We have one thought that comes in, we reflect on it, and a second thought develops from there, then a third thought, and our mind continues to process these thoughts, these furne that come in. The second process of the mind is what we call our buddhi, our intellect, where we make decisions, where we finalize what we decide to do. And then our chit, our memory function, if you will, where we remember, where we focus. Those are the functions of the mind, and beyond there, what leads those functions is our hond, our hankar, our I-ness, our self, our ego, our pride. And in there are all the collections of our experiences, not only in this life, but in all the previous lives that we have traveled through to reach this human form. And Sahib Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, man ki man hi, those thoughts, those furne, those processings, those memories, all those thoughts, those decisions that we have collected throughout all our life forms, man hi, they have remained within the inner core, maahi rahi, within maahi rahi. They have remained there when we pass on, when we leave this world, when we leave this body, all those collections will be left there. And they will then travel with us on, and they will form our direction in our next life if we are not blessed enough to be liberated. And further, if we reflect further, maybe all our thoughts have been left in our mind. We have been here this week, and we had many thoughts, we had many aspirations, and maybe all our thoughts and aspirations have not been fulfilled. Just like Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji is saying to the Sangat, that those things that we have in our mind, and what are those types of things? They are material ones. We want to develop materialistically, and Guru Sahib Ji will explain that in the coming Panktiyan. We want to develop materialistically. We want fame, we want fortune, we want acceptance. That's what our inert nature tells us to do. But those thoughts at the time of our end will just be left here. We will move on to a new situation. Remember, this life is, we are like travelers, and this body is just the house or the vehicle that we are traveling through in this life. And at the end, whatever we collected, that will be left with this vehicle, as we may move on to another vehicle in the next time round. So those thoughts, those aspirations, they have been left within the mind, within the inner core, when it comes to our end.
Na har bhajae na theerathh saevae, chottee kaal gehee.
And because those thoughts and those functions of our mind, the memory, what did we attach ourselves to? We became emotionally attached to the way of the material world. And so therefore, because we were distracted by those things, na har bhajae, we didn't do the bhajan, we didn't do the bhajan, the devotional worship of Hari Akal Purkh Vaheguru, the Lord who blossoms forth within us, the Lord who has blossomed this whole creation, illuminating it all. Na har bhajae, we have not practiced any devotional worship. And maybe one of the aspirations when we came here was to do that, and we haven't been able to do the amount we wanted to do. And so now, as we come to the last day, that will remain in our mind. And Guru Sahib Ji, as we heard yesterday from Bhai Harjinder Singh, and his reflection on Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji's Bani is that is very, we were being asked questions about Bairag, that it develops that Bairag. It develops our mindset to lose the love of the material world and only develop love of Vaheguru, because Guru Sahib Ji refocuses us. Remember, they spent over 26 years in deep focus in their self form, in their Nirankar form. And they're showing us the way to spirituality. Na har bhajae, we haven't practiced any devotional worship. Na theerathh saevae. So remember, they're in Paragraj. They're teaching those people there that you live in this town or you visit this town and you don't even come and practice devotional worship. You do not even bathe in these theeraths, these sacred shrines. And then what will happen? Na theerathh saevae. You have not selflessly served in those places. And then what will happen at the end? Chottee, kaal, gehee. Kaal. Kaal is the angel of death or death itself. Chottee. We will be taken, we will be dragged, we will be hit, we will be plundered, beaten by the angels of death because we haven't practiced any devotional worship. We haven't practiced any selfless service. Now if we think theerath, we don't believe in Gursikhi, in those sacred shrines. We don't need to go to those 68 places of pilgrimage because for us, we come to the Sadh Sangat 2 times every day. In Guruji's times, all Gursikh Sangat would come to the sanctuary of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and sit together twice a day as a minimum. They would come one at Amrit Vela and one time in the evening. And so when we want to reflect on this teaching for ourselves, we must think, Na theerathh saevae. Let us reflect that that theerath is coming to the Sadh Sangat. And when we've come to the Sadh Sangat, have we selflessly served the Guru's Roop, the fellow Gursikhs, the fellow soul brides? Have we selflessly served the Guru Sahib Ji themselves through their Sikh Sangat? Have we meditated and practiced devotional worship this week? Or will we do that when we leave this place? Maybe we have done it this week. Will we continue it as we go into our homes? And remember, I'm using the phrase selflessly serve because there are those of us who don't serve at all. And then sometimes, when somebody like me has a thought and I need something, I might serve for a particular reason. I might do seva for a particular reason, a reason to develop materialistically. But there are a rare few who selflessly serve without having any desires, no material desires. Their only desire, if you will, is the love of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. They don't desire any leadership or any rule, Raj na chaho. They are not even concerned with one of those low-level muktiyan, liberations of heaven, because there are 4 types of liberation in the heavenly abode. Mukta na chaho. They don't even have that desire. They realize that those pleasures, if you will, of heavens are false, and in any case, they exist in this world. So why would we aspire to go to those places? Those 4 different states of the heavenly abode. And all they desire, manpreet charan kamalare, the love of the charan kamal, the charan, the blessed feet of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. Na har bhajae na theerathh saevae. We have not selflessly served. So maybe that is something we must learn. When we serve, when we complete seva, that we have no desires apart from the love of the Lord. And if we don't practice devotional worship, meditating on Guruji's name, reciting that name, then all that is awaiting us, chottee, kaal, gehee. What is waiting us is the angel of death and that chottee, ready to be beaten and taken and to be judged. And then our deeds will be judged. If we listen, believe and follow the teachings of our Guru, those deeds that we do, they can be ripped, they can be torn. But if we don't have a Guru, a perfect Guru, then who is going to tear those deeds for us? Then we will be judged against those deeds that we do.
rehaao.
Dhan Sahib Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji command us to pause and reflect on this specific teaching before continuing.
dhaaraa, meeth, pooth, rathh, sanpath, dhhan, pooran, sabh, mehee.
So what are those material things that we focus on, that distract us? Dhaaraa. Dhaaraa literally translates to wife. But if we are female, we could take that as our spouse, our husband. So dhaaraa, our spouse. Meeth, our friends. Pooth, our children. Rathh, rathh translates to a carriage. So you could, in this day and age, translate that to a car. Sanpath are those assets that we have. Rulers had horses and elephants. We can translate this, if we want to apply it to us, to any other material assets that we have. Dhhan, our wealth, money. Pooran sabh mehee, pooran, all, sabh, mehee, all the wealth in the world. Because we just want to accumulate more wealth. That's all we focus on. What have we been doing in our previous lives? What have we been doing in this life? We have been developing emotional attachment to our spouses, our children, our friends. And yes, Guru Sahib Ji say that we can develop love with our wife. Nij nari ke saath neho tum nit badai ho. They tell us that, they give us that agya. Par nari ki sej pool supne hu na jahiyo. We cannot look, even in a dream, at another's wife. So if they're saying that, then what does this mean? This means we do not get overly emotionally attached, because actually that prem, that love for our spouse is about a union, working together, serving each other in the duties that have been laid out by our Guru to travel to oneness with the Almighty Lord. This is not emotionally attachment and being overly excited and dying for the physical form or for materialistic development. Our children, our friends, that we cannot live without our friends. But actually, we know that this world, everybody comes on their own, everybody goes on their own. Nobody is going to take our hand apart from our perfect Guru. And then those carriages, the cars that we buy, horses and elephants and any material assets, and then all the wealth of the world we accumulate, that we want to accumulate, that we target, that we get jealous of others who may have more than us, and we use them to motivate us to develop more. Guru Sahib Ji has described all these things that we focus on.
avar sagal mithhiaa jaano bhajan raam ko sehee.
And they give us a conclusion. Avar sagal, all these things and more. Mithhiaa jaano. Mithhiaa means false. They are illusion. They are false because they do not remain eternally. Only something that remains eternally is described as true. Everything that has a time limit is described as false, mithhiaa. Avar sagal, these and all others, mithhiaa jaano, realize, know these to be false. And so therefore, what is the only thing that remains true? Bhajan raam ko sehee. Bhajan, the devotional worship with love of Raam, who exists throughout all creation. Ko sehee, that is the only truth. That is the only thing that is going to take us to the Almighty Lord. We heard of those great Gursikhs yesterday that laid down their lives fighting in the battle of Amritsar, as it was described to us. And we heard of some of their jivans. So to become a soldier, we must become a saint. And the level of nitnem that they would do. As a Gursikh, we are not only supposed to give 10% of our wealth to the Guru Khalsa, but we are also supposed to give 10% of our time to our Guru. There's some of us that struggle to do our nitnem, and we reflected that that is one of those wings, and without that we cannot progress. But even further, are we giving 10% of our time to our Guru? Are we selflessly serving our Guru, the Almighty Lord, with 10% of our time? Meditating on His name, reading His Shabad, the Shabad that will join us with a Kaal Purkh Vaheguru. The only thing that is true in this world is, for us, are not those material assets that we accumulate, but the devotional worship of the Almighty Lord.
Firath bahuthae jug haryo manas deh lahi.
Firath, we have wandered over and over again in multiple life forms, but also throughout these 4 ages of Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, and now we're in Kaljug, bahuthae jug haryo. And we've lost each and every time, because if we'd won those times, we wouldn't be here. Or certainly if we're here, we'd be in that extreme blissful state, knowing that we are joined with the Almighty Lord. And there may be some of you sat there like that, so I beg for forgiveness. But people like myself, Firath bahuthae jug haryo, I've lost many times over. And then, even then, I have been blessed to be given manas dehe lahi. I've been given this human form. I've been given this human form. Why have I been given this human form? Gur seva te bhagat kamai, tab eh manas dei pai. Why have I been given this human form? Gur seva te bhagat kamai, tab eh manas dehi pai. I have been given this form to practice Gur seva, bhakti. That is why I have been given this human form. That's what Gurbani tells us. We haven't been given this to do anything else apart from selflessly serve our Guru. Selflessly serve them and practice devotional worship towards them. Ayo sonan padan ko bani. We have come here to listen and read and recite the Bani of the Lord. That Turki Bani ai, then sagali chint mitai. That takes away all our anguishes. The Bani from the primal Almighty Lord. That is why we've come here. But what do? Naam visar lagah analalach. Bertha janam perani. We have forsaken the name of the Lord and we have wasted this life in vain. Firath bahuthae jugharyo. I've wasted many lives, but even then I have been blessed with this human form. But this is our only opportunity to receive oneness with the Almighty.
नानक कहत मिलन की बरिया सिमरत कहा नहीं.
Tan Sahib Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's 9th form, Sahib Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj. Nanak Kahat Milan ki bariya. What do they decree? They decree Milan ki bariya. This is the time to meet. This is the time, the opportunity to meet Akal Purkh Vaheguru. Pei prapat manuk de huriya. Gobind Milan ki ehe teri bariya. Avar kaj tera kita nakam mil sadh sangat bhajae keval naam. This is the time to meet the Almighty Lord. This is why we have been given this human form. We have to join in the sadh sangat, and this is the opportunity to break free from the birth and death life cycle and join in oneness with the Almighty Lord. So at the end, Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji then leave us with a question. After they decree Milan ki bariya, this is the time to meet the Almighty. So if we know this, if we know all this information, then why? Simrat kaha nahi. Then why haven't we meditated on the name of the Lord? Why have we forgotten about them? Why have we become attached to the material world? This maybe is the question that we are going to take away with us when we go back to our homes. That we have been blessed this week with the opportunities to learn, to understand about sacrifice, to understand why Sahib Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji sacrificed themselves, and then how that sacrifice developed those great saint soldiers throughout all time, even in the modern times. We have reflected on the ways to selflessly serve our Guru, and we have accumulated divine wisdom from the speakers and the workshops that we attended. But right at the end, we must remind ourselves, and Sahib Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji is reminding us, that we have been given this life to practice devotional worship. And if that is the case, then why have we not, at this point, sacrificed ourselves into that devotional worship? Inniya bentiyan karde hoye das khima mangda hai. If I have disrespected anybody, I've made countless mistakes in reflecting on this Shabad, please beg for forgiveness. You, the Guru Khalsa Sadh Sangat, you are the greatest. You have the power. And I am just a translator. I translate these Shabads listening to great spiritual beings that have been on this earth, and all I do is translate them. I don't have this knowledge. I don't have the knowledge to be able to take you to oneness. All I can do is translate. That is nothing special. Speciality is having divine wisdom. I don't have no divine wisdom, but I pray to you, the Guru Khalsa Sadh Sangat, to bless me with that divine wisdom. Deho sajjan sisadiyan jo hoba sahib sumel, that I can also meet our husband Lord. And I beg for forgiveness for any mistakes. Lekha Katha na shutiya khin khin pulanhar baksanhar baksle nanak par utar. We're going to read these two panktiyan, then it will be smapti. We will do the ardas, take our Hukamnama again to reflect on this. We will partake in Kada Prasadi Deg, and then today we don't necessarily need that opportunity to rest. It is then the time where the Divan will continue straight after we have taken and been blessed with Guruji's deg and prasad, then we will continue the kirtan further on up until breakfast time. And then at breakfast time, we're supposed to go into breakfast. And from there, we will come back again for the final divan. Let us read these last two panktiyan before we have samapti.
ਫਿਰਤ ਫਿਰਤ ਬਹੁਤੇ ਜੁਗ ਹਾਰਿਓ ਮਾਨਸ ਦੇਹ ਲਹੀ ਨਾਨਕ ਕਹਿਤ ਮਿਲਨ ਕੀ ਬਰੀਆ ਸਿਮਰਤ ਕਹਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਰਾਮ ਕਲੀ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਤੀਜਾ। ਆਨੰਦ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਆਨੰਦ ਭਇਆ ਮੇਰੀ ਮਾਏ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਇਆ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਤਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਸਹਿਜ ਸੇਤੀ ਮਨ ਵਜੀਆ ਵਾਧਾਈਆ ਰਾਗ ਰਤਨ ਪਰਵਾਰ ਪਰਿਆ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗਾਵਨ ਆਈਆ ਸ਼ਬਦੋਤਾ ਗਾਵਹੁ ਹਰੀ ਕੇਰਾ ਮਨ ਜਿਨੀ ਵਸਾਇਆ ਕਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਆਨੰਦ ਹੋਆ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਇਆ ਇਹ ਮਨ ਮੇਰਿਆ ਤੂੰ ਸਦਾ ਰਹੋ ਹਰ ਨਾਲੇ ਹਰ ਨਾਲ ਰਹੋ ਤੂੰ ਮੰਨ ਮੇਰੇ ਦੁਖ ਸਭ ਵਿਸਾਰਣਾ ਅੰਗੀਕਾਰੋ ਕਰੇ ਤੇਰਾ ਕਾਰਜ ਸਭ ਸਵਾਰਣਾ ਸਭਨਾ ਗੱਲਾ ਸਮਰੱਥ ਸੁਆਮੀ ਸੋ ਕਿਉ ਮਨੋ ਵਿਸਾਰੇ ਕਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਮੰਨ ਮੇਰੇ